questions that was submitted by a community member for tonight focused on the hallway tax. Not knowing what this was, I was grateful that a description was also submitted with a question. According to her, every 2 years, multifamily homeowners pay a hallway stairway inspection tax, a tax not paid by single-family homeowners. This question gets at questions about equity and justice in the city of New Bedford. There is a perception shared by many, dating back many years, that certain parts of the city receive more in services and a greater share of the focus in improving the quality of life for residents. And it's these quality of life issues that voters care deeply about. Are my streets plowed? Are the parks well maintained? Can my children walk safely to school? As mayor of New Bedford, how will you promote equity and improve the quality of life across the city, not just in certain neighborhoods or areas?
I hadn't heard the hallway tax comment before. There are.
So you were glad for the description too?
Yeah, it's news to me, but there are multifamily, certain multifamilies are subject to inspection every year, and there's a fee associated with that. That's true in New Bedford. It's true really in any city in America, and it has to do with the physical safety of the place, and building and fire codes and all that. Yeah, we strive for equity up and down the city, and our development efforts have been focused not on one part of the city, but all parts of the city. So whether it's in the North End, where we've seen substantial growth in jobs, not only around Riverside Plaza and up along Belleville Avenue, but in the industrial park, but also in the downtown, where we've done an awful lot of streetscape work, a new park, and new parks in 3 different neighborhoods in the city, upgrades of parks. When you add the upgrades of parks that we've done over the last few years, it covers every single part of the city, North End, South End, West End, and downtown. And then all the investments in the South End, especially the ones that we've heard about in the news in the last couple of weeks. We are one city, and we rise and fall together. And our property tax system, the people who I usually hear from understandably, people who actually have more valuable houses because they end up paying higher property taxes, so especially folks in the North End and the Peninsula and the West End. So what we try to do, I try to be sympathetic to all of those claims, but what we try to do is make sure that all our city is working together as one, and then I think we've done a good job of that, given the level of investment that's been spread across the city.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question from Ms. Giessa. One of the questions that was submitted by community members for tonight focused on the hallway tax. According to this reader, every 2 years, multifamily homeowners pay a hallway stairway inspection tax, a tax not paid by single-family homeowners. This question gets at questions about equity and justice in the city of New Bedford. There is a perception that certain parts of the city receive more in services and a greater share of the focus in improving quality of life for residents. As mayor of New Bedford, how will you promote equity and improve quality of life across the city, not just in certain neighborhoods or areas?
Well, I never knew what the name of the tax was, but as someone who grew up in a 3-tenement house, I can tell you that yes, every year an inspector comes and inspects the hallways and the basements and the attics, and then my parents get a nice tax bill. There is a lot of inequity in the city, but again, we don't want to put people in neighborhoods against each other. It is great that the mayor discusses redeveloping and growing the downtown area, but we just can't focus on the downtown area. There's a lot of businesses along Acushnet Avenue in the North End, and the one thing that many of them tell me, along with many businesses on County and Rivet Street, there's a lot of empty businesses there, and the businesses that are there, they complain that this mayor focuses too much on the downtown. And it's great, a city does flow from the downtown area, but you also have to expand that opportunity throughout the city. And again, taxing people to death is not the way to expand economic development in this city. You have to find other ways to alleviate the tax problem and the tax burden on both businesses and residents. And again, one way to do that is to demonstrate or market our city the way that it should be marketed. And that is a city with hardworking people, a city that has a waterfront. The South Terminal should be used as a distribution center with huge cargo ships come in and they take off those goods and put them on the train or on a truck and distribute them throughout the country. We need to continue to support our fishermen who are being strangled by a lot of the different government regulations. And again, this is not happening under this mayor. So we need to do a better job in bringing the community together.
Thank you. Mayor Mitchell, you will now have a minute.
Yeah, so, yeah, you can just repeat the same thing over and over again. The mayor does nothing for fishermen. Go ask the fishing leaders in the community. That's all I can say on that score. There is a reason why folks like the NOAA administrator and the National Marine Fisheries Service administrator show up here and listen to what I have to say. Because when I go to a fisheries council meeting, my word matters, and it's mattered. Just go ask the folks whose businesses are at stake when I go testify. I'm glad you appreciate the work that we're doing on the South Terminal. You said yesterday that offshore wind is dead. We've had a recovery on that. I will say this, I will let everybody in on a secret. As much as we talk about the downtown, and as much as people like you like to repeat the mantra that I'm somehow focused on the downtown, the reality is that this part of the city that's had the most public funding in my administration has been the South End. Just if you add up the South Terminal, the new SMAS project, the Harbor Walk, and the 2 schools, hundreds of millions of dollars in investment. The most private sector investment has been in the North End, not in the downtown.
Thank you. Ms. Giessa, you will now have a minute.
Well, again, you're taking credit for things that had been placed before you became mayor. The South Terminal, again, was money was given to development of the South Terminal by the state. And there's not enough going on down there. Cape Wind is dead. It doesn't exist. We lost the casino because of your inability to bring people to the table and say, we need this here. This is the best thing for us. The only reason why you supported the casino is because you lost Cape Wind. That's the only reason why you supported it. You never wanted it, and I know that's a fact. The NOAA, it's great that they're here, but one of the reasons why we have a lot of regulations on our fishermen is because of NOAA. And speak to the fishermen. Speak directly to the fishermen that do the work, and they will tell you that they're being strangled by these government regulations.